For over 40 years, the Ghanaian economy has been dependent on three key commodities: timber, cocoa, and gold, and has been held to ransom by fluctuating prices on the world markets. The time has come, says government, to move on and create new strategic pillars of growth to enhance export revenues, attract fresh foreign investment, and alleviate poverty, specifically in the rural areas.
For me, if 60% of your population are living in the rural communities, then you cannot talk about development whilst ignoring that section of your population.
Ghana is an agricultural country, and we need to develop the land. Then we need to find a product that gives the best returns per hectare.
It's called red gold, and it's not hard to see why. Per hectare, oil palm is the highest yielding oil crop in the world. The economic miracle that is Malaysia today was built on it.
Malaysia currently earns over $12 billion just from the oil palm industry.
What makes oil palm totally unique is the fact that it produces two distinctly different oils, one from the flesh and one from the nut, with distinctly different industrial uses.
In Unilever, we say that palm oil is our lifeblood. And if something is your lifeblood, then it means that you depend on it entirely.
Palm oil is an essential ingredient in dozens of commodities. Here at Unilever, in soaps, detergent, margarine, toothpaste, cooking oil, and Vaseline. And the demand for palm oil-based products is enormous.
The market is huge. If you look at the population in West Africa, we're talking about 200 million people.
And harnessing that market is what the President's special initiative is all about.
You don't do small-scale things. You do big things. If you want to go into the world, you do big things.
It's a bold and ambitious plan. Government intends developing 100,000 hectares of oil palm plantations over the next 5 years and a further 300,000 in the following 10. Currently, there are an estimated 250,000 hectares under cultivation around the country, but 80% of this is in the hands of scattered small-scale farmers.
The crucial thing is that when people have only half a hectare or less than 1 acre, it's not an economic unit. So no matter what help you give that person, even when it is most productive, he cannot at the end of the year make enough to live on. We've got to move our people from subsistence to commercial.
How do we then start it? We need to plant.
J.C. Nkumsa is Managing Director of Ghana Oil Palm Development Company, GOPDC, the country's biggest commercial plantation.
Before GOPDC, people around were mostly subsistence farmers. With the advent of GOPDC, they've seen the good part of commercial farming.
This is how it works. GOPDC comprises a nucleus estate of 3,500 hectares and a mill capable of processing 250 tons of oil per day. To keep the mill running at full capacity, the company has contracted farmers in the surrounding area to produce fruit for them. 7,000 farmers in all, known as outgrowers, who, together, have planted 14,500 hectares of oil palm.
Last year, for instance, this 5-acre farm, I harvested 30 tons.
And what's that worth?
And I realized about 11.5 million out of it.
It's a win-win situation. GOPDC gets the raw material it needs to produce oil, and the farmers have a ready market for their produce.
I'm confident that with this farm, I can further my children's education. So it is something like a social security for me, not only me, but the entire family.
And this is the model that government intends to replicate. Over the next 10 years, it plans to help create dozens of nucleus estates surrounded by large outgrower plantations across the oil palm growing regions of Ghana. But achieving this goal will require radical change. It begins here at the Oil Palm Research Institute, or OPRI, in Kade.
We've said to OPRI, if we want to change the face of this industry, people need to have access to good transplantable material.
Over the years, the Institute has done invaluable research into developing and raising high-yielding plants for the industry. But fact is, Most small farmers buy their seedlings from local nurseries. They are cheap and accessible, but the plants are also hopelessly inferior. Trees on commercial plantations like GOPDC yield around 15 tons of oil per hectare, while those of the average small-scale farmer yield a mere 4. The new directive to the Institute is clear. Produce high-yielding seedlings on a massive scale and get them to the farmers fast.